Good to have your company for this lovely Saturday, the 3rd day of December 2022. You're watching the National Broadcaster. We're coming to you live from Nile Avenue Broadcast House. My name is Sandra Kahunde and I'm happy to be here to serve you for this particular newscast. Starting off, President Museveni has resurrected COVID-19 restrictions, asking those who have not been vaccinated to stay away from public gatherings. In a televised address about the health situation in the country, Mr. Museveni said the National Task Force has made recommendations aimed at avoiding a resurgence and flare-up of infections. Among the new restrictions include having a certificate of vaccination with evidence of up-to-date boosting in order to be allowed entry into formal meetings and public places such as religious gatherings, local council meetings and other social meetings.
I continue to appeal to all of you to get vaccinated because the coronavirus disease is still with us. I've been told by the Minister of Health that the positivity rate continues to vary between 0.4% to 1.2%. Although in the Western world and some parts of Asia, the coronavirus has started to increase again and even cause death, Africa has been relatively spared with low positivity rates. The National Task Force reviewed the current COVID-19 situation in the country and made the following recommendations to avoid a resurgence and flare up of infections. This should be adopted for implementation with immediate effect. Number one, a certificate of vaccination with evidence of up-to-date boosting is a requirement for entry in formal meetings and public places. Kata awomba funyawo. Awomba funye. Togenda kukirizibwa kuyingira mu lukiiko oba mu lukungana lwa bonna bw'oba tolina ekiraga nti bakakuba empiso 2 ate ne bateekamu n'ennyongeza ey'okusatu. Kati tolabaawo nti ngenda kufuna b'empisa 2. This is a smart move now. You are not going to go to any formal meeting. Formal meeting means the cabinet, means the district council, means the parents association meeting in the school, means the church service. No, the meetings, then public gatherings. So the two. The meeting may be few people like the district council. Now we are not going to allow you to enter those. We are going to instruct all the managers of those events, of the meetings or the public gatherings, that somebody who does not have certificate of 2 vaccinations, because remember there were most of the vaccines needed 2 doses. There was only one called Johnson & Johnson where you would have only one dose. So that we know the difference. If it is Johnson & Johnson, it is one dose. If it is the others, 2. Plus the booster. If you are in my group, like the Wakaire, the elders, the ones of, where do they start, 65? Or this 55? Where do we start with the elders? The 3.3 million are from what group?
The 3.3 million are from 50 years.
50?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, okay. So those ones now need 3. If they did not use Johnson & Johnson. 2 doses first, and the nyongeza, the booster. If you got Johnson & Johnson, 1 plus a nyongeza plus the booster. Bus, ukuyingira mu bus, ukuyingira mu these taxis. I think these are all covered, are they not? So, these ones who are really wasting our time and endangering us. Number 2, where there is no up-to-date vaccination certificate, a negative PCR test within 24 hours is required. If you are not fully vaccinated, then you must show that you have been tested for corona 24 hours before or less. Number 3, COVID-19 vaccination certificate will be required to access offices at all government ministries, departments, and agencies. Tojja mu office ya government bw'oba talina akakonge akalaga nti bakugema. Don't come to the government office if you don't have the proof that you have been vaccinated.
Relatedly, on the same conversation or activities, related on the same activities from the head of state, President Yoweri Museveni has advised the public against encroaching water catchment areas. The president was officiating National Water and Sewerage Corporation at 50 celebrations held at Kololo Ceremonial Grounds.
It is now 50 years since the establishment of the National Water and Sewerage Corporation as a government institution mandated with the responsibility of ensuring access to clean and safe water as well as sewage services for all. According to the National Water and Sewerage Corporation management, a lot of progress has been achieved as regards to the corporation's core mandate.
Since 2012, we have increased the number of towns under national water from 23 to 263 towns of Uganda. And we are projecting by 2026 to have reached 300 towns of Uganda. Your Excellency, the number of people served in 2012 were about 4.5 million. As I talk now, Your Excellency, National Water serves 18 million Ugandans, and we are projecting to increase it to 25 million by 2026.
The management attributes the corporation's success to the strong foundation built by the past leadership and government support, begging for increased funding to do more.
National Water is requesting that the government considers increasing its investment subsidy ceiling by 30 billion per annum for the next 5 years.
Target is to cover all industrial parks, and this will go a long way to stimulating wealth creation and growth of our economy.
Responding to these calls, President Museveni pledged commitment to engage stakeholders and forge a way forward.
Of course, within the piped water, you also have the industrial use. The industrial use, the factories, they use it, and then irrigation. So I will call a meeting to discuss what Engineer Mugisha was saying about the 30 billion. To see how to push more people to have the piped water to the figure of 30 million.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, however, noted with concern the rate at which the environment is being encroached on, warning culprits that very soon they will be dealt with once and for all.
It is wrong, it is dangerous, it is unnecessary. We want the water to be kept so that it is used for the 4 purposes: drinking, sewerage, industrial use, and irrigation. And therefore, where water is, please, it is sacred, don't go there. And if you are there, get out yourself slowly so that we don't have to come to push you out of the water bodies.
Earlier, the President lauded National Water and Sewage Corporation for demonstrating that government institutions have capacity to deliver beyond their mandate.
One reason for privatization was that we had given up hope in government companies. We had said the government companies, Babi, Tubesonye, let's rely on the private sector. But now you are saying, no, Siwana, Babi. Some are thieves, some are not. So I congratulate you for passing the test.
It is on record that National Water and Sewage Corporation makes a revenue turnover of over 500 billion shillings with a net profit of 109 billion shillings per annum. Dorcas Kimono, UBC News.
Now moving on, the Committee of Parliament on Environment and Natural Resources has challenged Uganda Electricity Transmission Company Limited to actively guard against electricity infrastructure vandalism. The chairperson of the committee, Dr. Emmanuel Otiamotala, tasked the transmission body to seek necessary support from relevant authorities, including security, to fight the vice.
The persistent vandalism of electricity infrastructure has attracted the attention of legislators sitting on the Environment and Natural Resources Committee to hit the ground to assess the magnitude.
Other than government thinking of expanding the transmission infrastructure to reach other areas, we are now focusing attention on replacing what has been vandalized.
There is much need for the government to install a lovely heart to teach practically the spirit of patriotism, love for the country.
Legislators are not convinced of the trend of vandalism. They believe this is beyond the alleged scrap market and have cited economic and country development sabotage.
This focus on scrap business, but also we cannot rule out economic sabotage by people who are not supporting this government.
Committee members accused the Uganda Electricity Transmission Company Limited for not doing enough while seeking support.
Electricity Transmission Company to clarify to us the actions they took in terms of addressing this massive vandalism? Because really, it has taken place over a period of time.
Sabotage, because when we see some of the items vandalized, they are just left there.
Whenever we have vandalism, the truth is that our network gets weaker. Yeah, we have alternative routes of supply, but every time we have our infrastructure getting cut, then our network gets weaker.
These recommend military deployment to secure valuable transmission towers.
So we are requesting that let at least every kilometer have some 2 army officers to help us keep this. And also we would like the cost to be covered by government, not the final consumer.
Apart from deployment, MPs want thorough investigations into alleged connivancy of sector employees and former contractors.
In Chiboga, I have some of them. They call me and tell me, okay, we know how to compensate ourselves. So I'm still thinking that probably there are some contractors who fail to fulfill all the payments to the people that are subcontracted. We need to look out into this because the ministry may not know whether the contractor actually fulfilled all the obligations.
We've had incidences where we've arrested a worker of the contractor taking part into vandalism.
The transmission body is calling for more support in fighting this twisted trend of vandalism.
Other agencies can come in and we really curb this problem together. Together we can win this.
The transmission body is undertaking restoration of the destroyed towers at the Bujagali Torres source transmission line with the wooden materials as an alternative for a temporary solution. Abdul Nasser Lubwama, UBC News.
The Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development has expressed commitment to control the ever-increasing supplementary expenditure, which continues to constrain the budget. The State Minister for Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Amos Lugolobi, says going forward, supplementary budgets will only be approved for emergencies like disasters. This was at the review of the development implementation for financial year 2021-2022 held at the Office of the Prime Minister.
The Development Plan Implementation Program Annual Performance Report of 2021-22 of the implementation of National Development Plan 3 indicates that gross domestic product rate increased to 4.6%, lower than the target of 5.99%. The annual budget alignment to NDP 3 national program level was less at 63% compared to the target of 75%. This low performance was attributed to the COVID-19 effects and Russia-Ukraine war.
It is important that we do not take the annual reviews as a ritual. This is a very important activity that will help us deliver the key results of the DPI program and specifically our promises to the people of Uganda.
Although the implementation plan targeted to keep supplementary budget expenditure at less than 3%, supplementary expenditure rose to 9.86% in the last 2 years, a challenge that has affected implementation of NDP 3.
So we think there is urgent need for us to institute fiscal discipline and try to eliminate these supplementary expenditures.
People writing supplementary requests on things like buying a car, on paying wage, on travel abroad. Those things should not appear anywhere in supplementary. So we said no, we are not going to process it.
State Minister for Finance and Planning, Amos Lugolobi, says although progress has been made in many areas, including expanding revenues, debts continue to be a challenge.
We have not yet hit the 50% mark, the 50% debt to GDP ratio. We are still below that, meaning that we are within the sustainable levels of our debt management strategy.
A representative from the Civil Society Budget Advocacy Group said the 2021 Uganda tax report indicates people are evading taxes and there are a lot of inconsistencies that have led to leakages and loss of money.
what we are calling upon is Ministry of Finance together with the Uganda Revenue Authority to formulate and implement a policy to reduce tax exemptions while upholding tax compliance.
As far as implementation of the parish development model is concerned, CSOs recommend that government conducts a forensic audit on the funds because despite it making progress, there are concerns of misappropriation of funds by local leaders. I'm Navka Farida and Dan Lugemwa in Kampala.
With disability have asked Uganda Bureau of Statistics to update records of PWDs stating clearly the types and causes of disability. The Executive Director, National Union of Disabled Persons of Uganda and UDIP, Eseda Chozira, says most of the people living with disability have not been able to get access to services due to unclear statistics related to their disabilities.
The National Union of Persons Living with Disability will on Saturday join the rest of the world in commemoration of the Day of Persons Living with Disability. In commemoration of the day, NUDEPO highlights a number of challenges that are still pending redress.
Appoint sign language interpreters in hospitals, police and all public places for convenience of persons with hearing impairment to access services.
I propose if the ministry could try and schedule a system where they offer outreach clinics to, especially in rural.
Addressing such issues requires supporting statistical data and analysis of the types and causes of disability, which according to NUDEPO is still missing. UBOS has therefore been called upon to intentionally collect and update data of all persons with a disability with attached causes.
Our interest would be that if this is done on an annual basis, would then know that the disabilities are growing bigger in numbers. And if the numbers are becoming big, it is the interest of government to find out, one, what is causing the numbers to grow, and they deal with the prevention. Then two, how do we deal with these numbers that are growing?
They also want government to equip all learning institutions that aid persons with a disability to enhance their skills.
And those that have been able to come through the rehabilitation centers that are available, we don't see how they are being supported to go back to the community and become something. Because we are looking at independent living, we don't want a person with disability who is going to be a burden.
The commemoration of the Day for Persons with a Disability will be held on Saturday in Kole District under the theme Leadership and Mindset Change, a tool for inclusive development. Susan Naung and Andrew Sebira reporting for UBC TV.
MTN presents Tugende Muchika Day at Kampala Serena Hotel on Saturday, 3rd December 2022. Standard tickets go for 100k, gold 300k, and 3 million for platinum. Or pay 90,000 shillings if you pay using MTN mobile money. Remember, this is only applicable to ordinary tickets. Featuring Eddie Away, Charles Nalubega, Sweet Kid, Kawiye Semboga, Akiki Romeo, Betty Pologuma, Ziggy D, Lady Mariam, Tina Tine, Abdumulasi, and featuring Wake-up band. All this at Kampala Serena Hotel. For reservations call 0785-961-910. Dress code retro style. Sponsored by Elderly Network Foundation, Coca-Cola, Al Breweries Limited, Kadanke, and MTN.
Get value for your money by choosing the right paint. With Global Paints, you don't just paint, but paint for generations to come. Make Global Paints a paint of choice and make your building a paradise. We have weathercoat emulsion, undercoat emulsion, silk vinyl emulsion, flat emulsion, super gloss, and high gloss. Global Paint, a reliable product.
Get connected today with the My Airtel 4G smartphone, the most affordable smartphone in Uganda. You get to enjoy free 1 GB for 1 whole year. My Airtel 4G smartphone, your best value for money. Visit the nearest Airtel outlet today and get one at only 250,000 Uganda shillings. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome to the Living Room Stadium. It's the FIFA World Cup.
The match is about to start. Food and drink ready. There's no space left for anyone. Come on, get your lucky chair. Take your usual spot. Even the puppy has one. It's preparation time. You can feel the tension in the air. And do you have everything you need to believe?
Paying for groceries the old way.
3, 4, yeah.
Allow me. Paying for groceries with the My Airtel app. You have the power in your pocket. The power to conveniently pay for goods and services. Unlock that power with the My Airtel app. Visit the App Store or Google Play now.
That's my wife.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is no longer news that Ebola is with us. Please wash your hands with the soap every now and then. For the entire business community, ladies and gentlemen, let us lead by example. Let us sensitize our customers and let us be cautious. Avoid the handshaking, avoid the hugs, because it is dangerous for everyone.
If you, your loved ones, or anyone else in your community is experiencing any Ebola signs and symptoms, immediately inform the health officials in your area. You can also call 0800 100 066 or text 8500 for free to notify the health authorities. Together, we can beat Ebola. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from USAID, WHO, and UNICEF.
Welcome back. Glad to know you're still watching UBC, and thank you once again for making time. Now, getting on to our business, the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries will on the 5th of December hold World Soil Day celebrations to raise awareness about the rapid depletion of soil productivity. The International Union of Soil of Sciences and the National Food and Agricultural Organization adopted a resolution in December 2013 proposing this particular situation.
Productive soil has both living and non-living elements which, if mishandled, reduce the quality of the soil. Recognizing the serious dangers on the soil resource in the world, the International Union of Soil Sciences, together with the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, initiated awareness-raising campaigns against soil degradation at global, regional, national, and local level since the year 2002. Subsequently, the International Union of Soil Sciences adopted a resolution proposing the 5th of December every year as a World Soil Day to celebrate the importance of soil in human life.
In more news, the refugees and host communities in Yumbe, Madi, Okoro, Terego, Ajumani, and Chiriandongo districts are to benefit from a 4.6 billion grant from the European Union. The funds will support the Skilling Uganda project by Enabel, a non-government organization, and the Ministry of Education and Sports.
Edukans, Educational Services, Window International, and World Hunger Hilfe are recipients of the funds. The funds will facilitate training of over 1,200 refugees and host community in Yumbe, Madiokolo, Terego, Adjumani, and Kiriandongo.
So if we focus on the skilling, which is more or less, I would say, a focus of what has been shown today, the skilling, the idea is really to empower the individual and the groups to be able to have a business that will continue beyond. So of course it's profitability for them. So to be able to have a service that they are good at delivering for a group that needs it.
The 3 selected organizations are currently implementing social and economic empowerment projects in refugee settlements in northern Uganda.
An effort was made to make sure that 50% of those people trained are women and girls. I'm also delighted to inform you that tracer studies indicate that about 7 out of 10 trained refugees and hosts find employment within 6 months after graduation.
The Skilling Uganda project, which started in 2017, has so far benefited over 5,000 refugees and host community.
So right now my life is okay. My kids, they are in school. Everything is now okay.
Out of honeycomb, and there I can make candles. Even there is called propolis. Since I lack of capital, it is very hard for me to make that propolis, but it is expensive. It can treat ulcer.
For bigger business and access to local and regional markets for locally manufactured products such as honey, there is an appeal for extra support to certify the products.
The issue of certification. They are good products, quality products, I may say. But we need to move forward to ensure that these products are certified so that we can open up markets, even in the neighboring countries.
Refugee response initiatives by the EU address a wide spectrum of issues such as humanitarian aid, water, hygiene, sanitation, among others. West Nile region and northern Uganda host more than 1 million refugees, mainly from South Sudan and the Democratic Republic of Congo. For UBC News, I'm Jerome Omara.
Well, that's all we had time for this particular newscast. More current affairs will be coming your way later on in the day. However, keep watching UBC. My name is Sandra Kahunde. We take you now to Kololo, where there's a live event, and of course we expect activities regarding the head of state.
Paying for groceries